Hi everyone, I'm Gio. Today is Monday, March 23rd, and as of today, I have 1,080 days clean. So we're getting up there, almost to the 3 year point. That'll be coming up really soon on April 7th. That'll be my 3 year point. So things have been really, really good in my life. I just want to show you right now my shirt. See what it says? Jesus saved my life. And that is the absolute truth, and this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about for me now. This is why I do this. This is why I take the time to shoot these videos. Not that I'm putting all this time into this, but that's why I do take the time to do this. And the thing that I want people to understand about me now is that I was a drug addict, right? And I was an addict, like the worst kind of addict, where I put everything I had into my addiction. Every part of my life was about my addiction and about me getting high until I had nothing left. For the past 20 years, I didn't pay one bill until recently. I didn't pay one thing. I didn't ever pay rent. I didn't ever pay. All I did was just get by every day, barely get by every single day, and just absolutely just hate everything except for those few moments where I would, get a little something and get high. Those few moments, those initial moments, but then all the time it doesn't even feel as good as you want it to feel, and it's over before you want it to be over, and then you're just right back to where you were again. And it's a terrible feeling when that's all that you have, and that's the only thing that you have that gives you any sort of joy, any sort of excitement, any sort of feeling in your life, is when you get high. That's the only thing that makes you feel anything, is to get high. And that's what happens, when you get an addiction. That's exactly what happens, and it just takes you away from everything else in your life until that's all that you have. And that's what addiction does to you. But again, my shirt says Jesus saved my life. And this is the thing, is I represent Jesus all the time. Everything I do, you always, almost always, 90% of the time, see me wearing something, whether it's a hat, whether it's a shirt, whether it's something, because it's so important. And this is who I am now. And I love that this is who I am now. I love that I ran into someone that I hadn't seen in years, at the store. And he's like, "Hey, you look great. How are you doing? How's things going?" I'm like, "Things are great, man. Never been better." And, I have been clean for almost 3 years now. And I turned my life to living for Jesus. And that's what I do, is, I live, everything is about Jesus. And they're like, "Wow, it's amazing," and that people like truly see that in me, though. Like everyone who knows me now, that's what they see in me. And this is the person that I truly, truly am. A lot of people say things, a lot of people do things, but this is literally what I am. Like nearly every day. I'm not going to say every day, because I don't ever want to tell a lie. I don't ever want to be dishonest. I want to be a man of integrity. I want to be a man of honesty. And I want my words to mean something whenever I speak. I've kind of been speaking that for a while now, but this is like absolute truth now. When I speak, I want my words to mean exactly what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is that I pray, daily. I pray multiple times, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times a day. Sometimes, I have an ongoing conversation that I carry on with Jesus, with my Father. I have a conversation that I carry on at all times. Everything I do, I get in the car. "Hey, Lord, this is what's going on. This is where I'm at today. Father, I'm sorry I haven't talked to you yet today. I apologize for that. I'm watching TV way too much, and I need to stop doing that. Please help me to stop doing that. I know that that's my crutch. I know that's what I'm doing too much of, and I don't want to do that." But I pray and I ask God that I want every single person that I come into contact with, on this day and on every day, I want to have a positive impact on their lives. I want them to see, basically see Jesus in me, and then want to live their lives differently. That's what I want for my life. And this is what I pray for God to help me do on the regular, like that. Those words come out of my mouth often, not every day, not, so I'm not going to say it's every day that I say that, but often, a lot, multiple times a week, multiple times a week, sometimes multiple times a day, I will speak those words. And that's the absolute truth, is that's what I want people to see in me. And I want to be that at all times. And I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job about it. I'm not trying to I can't think of the expression, but I'm never trying to brag. I'm never trying to boast. All I'm trying to do is just tell people that this is what I'm doing. And I'm just doing it not because I'm doing it to show off, not because I'm doing it to say it in this video. I'm doing it to do it, but I'm sharing with you that I'm doing it because of how happy I am in my life and the fulfillment that I get in my life by doing these things, you know. So the pastor this week at our service, he said his very opening statement was, "When is the last time you've done something for someone where you didn't expect anything in return?" You know, and my answer was, well, probably 3 times today, because that's truly how I live my life now, is I'm trying to think at all times of what I can do for someone and how I can help someone, how I can be a blessing to someone, how I can do something to make someone else's day better. And this is how I live my life. And, you know, you say that, well, I'm doing this for them, I'm doing it for them, but really you do it for yourself because it makes you feel good to do that. And it makes you feel good knowing that you are bringing honor to the Father, to know that you're living like Jesus lived, because that's how Jesus lived his life, you know, was doing things for others, putting others before himself at all times. And that's how we're taught to live. That's how the Bible teaches you to live. And I'm living proof that that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm better in my life. By doing that, I end up being better in my life than I've ever been. I'm more secure in my life than I've ever been. And I'm happier in my life than I've ever been. And like anyone who knew me before, that knew me as an addict, anyone like who might possibly watch this that knew me as an addict, you know, you've seen me at my worst. You've seen me where every single thing that I have is from me stealing it. It's from me taking it from a store, going into a store and grabbing a bunch of stuff and running out the door and hoping not to get caught by the cops. That was my regular thing. Multiple 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day I would do that. But yet now everything I have, I earned it. Everything I have, I did it all the right way. And I have more now than I ever did ever before in my life. And it's just amazing that by giving back, that's what happens, is that you get more by giving back. By doing for others, you get more from it. And that's really how that I live my life. And it's awesome because it's brushing off on other people in my life. You know, my wife now, she's thinking of other people. You know, she heard it was this girl's birthday. She brings home a birthday card. She knows Easter's coming up. She brings home cards for people. Like, these are things I was always the one doing before, but now my wife's doing that too. So I'm rubbing off on her, and she's seeing the joy that it gives me to do it. And, you know, and now she's becoming a part of it. So now not do people only see me as doing these things, see me as this man of God. Now they see us as this man and woman of God, this couple of God, you know, that we're honoring God with everything that we do. And it's such a great, awesome feeling. And it really does give you freedom in your life. And it makes it so my life is good, and my life, I have a future, you know, and these are all things that I haven't had before in my life, because I always had something else that was taken away from it. I always had something else that needed my attention, something else that just needed more attention than anything good that I could do, you know, whether it was my addiction, whether it was smoking cigarettes, whether it was gambling, whether it was pornography, whatever it was, all those things that you become addicted to. I was addicted to all of them, you know, and whether it was taking diet pills, whatever it was, I just always did it in excess. But now, I mean, I guess now I'm doing this in excess as well, you know, with the Jesus, by wearing something every day and, you know, having all these bumper stickers on my car that say Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So I guess I'm doing this in excess as well. But if you were ever going to do something in excess and be addicted to something, you know, I'm telling you right now, this is the thing to be addicted to. And this is the thing that's going to make my life, you know, better and make me happier. And it's going to make my family happier. You know, we see it right now in my stepdaughter. She's going to be getting baptized this week coming up, and she's excited for it. And I see a huge difference in her, you know, just recently in this past month. And we brought her with us, you know, to go deliver some of the stuff to this lady for her birthday. And, you know, we went and got donuts for this other person, cheesecake for this other person. And she got to see us just go give to people and be a part of that. And that's awesome to do that, you know, with your daughter and stuff like that. So, but I just wanted to share this all really quickly, where I'm at and how great it truly, truly feels to be this person. And like, I'm going to be this person of integrity, this person of just complete obedience to God. Like, and I'm not, I shouldn't say that, because I'm not completely obedient. There's so many things I could do better, and there's so many things I want to do better and I want to grow, but I'm doing a lot of good things at the same time. But there's always room to grow. And that's the thing, is that when you're doing this, when you're living for Jesus, when you're living this way, You can never say, well, I'm doing everything I can do, because you'll never ever feel that. You'll never have that. I talked to my mentor, Karen, and she basically, she's been doing this her whole entire life, and she still feels like she doesn't do enough. And if there was ever a person that you felt like did enough because that's all that she does, it would probably be her. But yeah, at the same time, she says that she doesn't feel like she's doing enough. So I feel like all the studies, I have a Bible study almost every day besides Friday now, that I do something for the church, whether it's going to church. We go to 2 different churches. I attend events at 2 different churches. Today alone, on a Monday, I had a prayer group followed by a Bible study, followed by a Firm Foundation class, so that's 3, probably 5, 7 hours today I spent doing church stuff, not 7, 2.5, 5, 6, a little bit over 6 hours today doing just stuff with church functions, and then tomorrow I have a class, Wednesday I have a class, Thursday I have a class. And but this is what I want to do. This is how I want to live my life. And these are the things that give me joy in my life now. These are the things that give my life purpose. And the purpose is to try to help other people to see Jesus in me, so they too want to have Jesus become in them. They too want to live their lives differently and become a different person because of this joy that I do have now. After living the life of being a drug dealer and having everybody come to me and trying to be this cool guy and living in hotel rooms and, doing all the things that a drug dealer would do, all the things they make look cool on TV, when I had that, buying all the sneakers, buying all these stuff, having just anything I want to have for a little bit, but none of that stuff lasts. And all that excitement, all that stuff, it was just all superficial. It wasn't real. It did nothing for me in the long run. Nothing that I did at that time, all those years I spent in my addiction, all those years. It gave me a testimony to speak on now, but it did nothing for me. Whereas right now, the past 3 years, going on 3 years that I've been clean, I've built myself up so much, and I've done so many things that I can be proud of, so many things that are now going to be like the person I'm known to be now. I've changed that. I've changed that complete narrative of myself, and it does feel amazing. It feels awesome. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but it does excite me just to be able to say these things and to absolutely mean them, with all my heart. Everything I say, to absolutely mean it with all my heart, and to be so proud of it, and be proud of this person, be proud to say that Jesus saved my life, proud to say that I love Jesus, proud to say that I live for Jesus, proud to say, these things that I say, proud that, I have 2 days off on a weekend, and both days I'm going to spend hours at my church, proud to do that and love doing it and enjoy every moment of it. And just to know that that's who I am now, and just to really, really, really care about trying to help other people be better, try to help other people to be able to go to heaven, try to help other people just to have a better, happier, more joyful life than they have now. And especially the people that are battling addiction, because, God gives you a testimony. God brings you through all these trials and tribulations, everything you'll go through in your life, so that you may be able to speak on them at a point in time. And, that's why all my addiction, everything that I went through, now I can say that you can overcome it, and the more that you went through, the stronger your testimony is. So that's the amazing thing about it, is that all of it is forgiven. Once you repent of your sins, they're gone. You don't have to worry about them. Jesus took them from you. Jesus died on that cross. He had to go suffer the way that he suffered so that you can live, and you can live in freedom, and that you can have that freedom in your life just by accepting him, and just acknowledging what he did for you, and just caring about letting those sins go and wanting to be a true changed person, and wanting that for your life. You have to want it. You can say the words, but you have to want it as well. So I don't know. I love you guys. I thank you guys so much if you actually watch this video all the way through. And I will work on these. I want to, but just my TV watching is out of control. I spend way too much time watching TV when I could be working on my videos. I could be doing these other things that I'm not doing. I do a lot, like I said, with all the Bible studies, all the things, my studies and stuff. I do a lot, and I'm happy about what I'm doing, but I want to do more, and I want to focus on these videos more. I want to focus on learning more. Just there's so many things I can do better, but it's a process. Nothing ever happens, just happens, in the blink of an eye, snap of a finger. Nothing happens like that. So I'm going to work on it. Things will get better, but I appreciate you guys so much. If you watch this video all the way through, please like, subscribe, share, anything you guys can do. Show the channel some love. And remember that as nice as it is to be important, it is infinitely more important to be nice. I love you. God bless you all.